to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, okay. So, Ohio, Measure 1 passed last month, and it gave the women the right to have an abortion up to like 20 weeks or 22 weeks or so. And this would overturn the more restrictive abortion measures that were on Ohio's books. The Republicans immediately afterwards were saying how they were going to challenge us in the Supreme Court and do everything within their power to prevent this law from being enacted. They have since, in the last month, backed off from that saber rattling. As one Democratic member pointed out, a lot of these Republicans serve in districts where this passed by a big margin. And maybe, undermining the will of your voters in your district is not a good political strategy. You think? The Democrats do expect that anti-abortion groups will file lawsuits to prevent this from being put in place. The GOP will try and eat around the edges on the Measure 1 ruling, but for right now, they realize they're in for a protracted fight. But it looks like things are going to be going well. So let's do a reading on the current situation in Ohio with Measure 1 and what the outlook is going forward. Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Queen of Cups. I think right now the women have control of the situation. They have control over their bodies. Again, they have control over their decisions that they get to make with their bodies. And that's the way it should be. And that's crossed with the death card. And I'm not reading this as the abortion per se, but it's putting to rest this push to basically restrict their rights. It's now in the state constitution that women have a right to an abortion. It put this debate to an end. It closed it out. But now, underneath it is people's willingness to accept the new normal. Or will they always be juggling ways? Then when I was talking about in the intro about eating around the edges, there's that constant juggling of how do we keep this from being eroded? Because there are people that just aren't going to accept that this fight is over. So they're going to try and work on the edges. In the past, we have the Tower. The GOP in Ohio really tried to force this thing through there. And the voters rejected him twice. Once was to get this measure on the ballot, which got delayed, if I'm not mistaken. And then the GOP put another measure in saying, if you're going to amend the state constitution, we want to change it from a simple majority to 60% of the votes. And they got shot down on that. And then they got shot down on the women's rights. Now, it did pass with 57% of the vote. So had the GOP gotten their 60% thing in there, they would have been able to prevent the Democrats from supporting women's rights and getting that into the state constitution. It's hard to say that if they did get the 60% in, could the Democrats have gotten that extra 3%? Maybe. I don't know. But they didn't have to. So women's rights right now are taking their victory lap. As well they should be. Because it's what's right in this world. These guys don't have a right to tell women what to do. And I do not understand why they think they need to do that. Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, women's rights have a victory. The messaging, I think the messaging in this case, they don't want is quick messaging, but I think it's also loud and clear. When you've got 58% of the vote supporting this measure, it was a landslide victory. It wasn't a little victory. It was a big victory. And it's sending a message to those that would compromise this ruling. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. There's work that needs to be done to codify women's reproductive rights and other rights, because there's always that fear, and it's a reasonable one at this point, given the political climate in this country, that folks are going to try and undermine the hard work that's been done. And the work's not over. Just because you got to this stage doesn't mean the work's done. The work is just beginning. You have to keep working to strengthen these rights and strengthen this victory. The outcome is the Four of Swords. I think what's going to happen is that the outrage over this is going to die down. You know, the GOP is going to have to switch over to election interference, and I'm sure the folks in Ohio are really, really concerned about the southern border because it truly impacts them on a daily basis, if you know what I mean. The Republicans are going to have to turn their attention to other things. So in this round, I think that the GOP is going to have to basically regroup and think of a new strategy, because hammering on this when basically 60% of people don't think that your idea is a bad idea, that's not good for you come election in an election year. So they're going to have to step back and come up with a different platform to champion why they should be reelected. So I think for the short term, it looks like women's rights in Ohio for abortion are going to be upheld. And the GOP is just going to have to turn their thoughts and their evil deeds onto other things. I don't know. Maybe making it easier to vote would be a good thing. Maybe getting rid of gerrymandering would be a good thing. Oh, wait. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. How about an uplifting spiritual message for the women in Ohio and the women in this country based on this Ohio case? How about something like that? We'll make this a quick one. We'll end on something like that. What type of kind of high-level, uplifting spiritual message can we take away from the courage shown and the hard work shown by the folks in Ohio to get this passed? I'm always worried that I'm going to get a card like this to lead it out. It's, about the heartbreak. It's that don't get discouraged when you're facing that resistance. You don't always get all the victories that you want. In this case, you got the victory that you want, and it's discouraging when you're seeing people fighting against that, but the reason why they're fighting against it is that you've already won in this one. You've brought an end to their you've brought an end to their challenges. And in some ways, this is about their disappointment, huh? Tomorrow's a new day, and there's always new choices to fight. Yeah, that them trying to tell you what to do has come to an end. It's disappointing that they even challenged you on this one, because this was never about them. This was about you and the journey that you're on, and that there's going to be wins and losses. And there's going to be struggles. There's going to be things, but in the end of the day, persevere. You will defeat the enemy that's trying to betray you. You'll bring an end to their shenanigans. And after you've overcome that, you've got another choice to make. And basically life is a journey, and there's going to be challenges in that journey. Overcome those challenges and continue down your spiritual path on this one. Okay, so that's my reading on the Ohio abortion case. Again, I think in this case, good job on measure one. That's a victory, and that's going to be a lasting victory. The pro-lifers, pro-birthers, if you will, the ones against women's reproductive rights and the GOP, they're going to go hide in their corners and lick their wounds for a little bit. They've got elections re-elections that they need to start working on, and going against 60% of Ohio voters is not the way to go to get reelected. And that, you're going to come across battles every day, big battles in this case, and you're going to win some and you're going to lose some, but keep persevering, keep making the good choices, and you will persevere and grow in this spiritual journey as a result of that. Okay. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good afternoon, a good morning, actually, in this case, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.